enchanted by a fairy tale when you met your soulmate and realized, this is the person who will make your life a fairy tale. He is the prince from a tender childhood dream of love. You thought it could never happen. But here he is. Now you feel like a real princess. He loves you very tenderly and passionately. He is very romantic, attentive, strong, sensitive. He meets all your ideals. You can't even believe sometimes that this man is real. But this is not a dream. You have met your prince. He's helped you climb your pedestal. And now you're exactly where you should be. The happiest woman in the world. Now you believe you are the most beautiful, the smartest, the most talented, the most interesting, the sexiest. Now you believe you are a princess. And you read all of this in the eyes of your Prince Charming. But the happiness didn't last long. At some point, the prince did something that made you wonder if he was sane, if someone strange and unfamiliar had replaced him. What did he do? Thrown a barbed word in passing? Behaved less sensitively than you expected, and how he behaved before not so long ago? Broke your heart with outright rudeness? Hit you where it hurts the most even though he knew full well it was your weak spot? It doesn't matter. The fact remains, he did something that a prince should not do under any circumstances, not under any circumstances. That it's as if you've been thrown from your golden heaven, and you hit the hard ground with all your might. You feel broken, destroyed. This is a serious enough incident. If there were another person, not so perfect, in the prince's shoes, you would even consider breaking up. But after all, this is the love of your life. You start wondering what happened. Maybe he got sick, wasn't feeling well? Is he in trouble? Maybe he didn't mean it at all. You search diligently for an explanation that will allow you to keep your relationship with your lover, and you can find such an explanation that in addition, your soulmate is very willing to help you with this. He does something that confirms your feelings deceived you. You all seemed nothing terrible really happened. He can just verbally deny what happened, for example, like this. You just imagined it. Don't make a big deal out of nothing. Or he might say something like, it's just that you're too sensitive and often make things up. I didn't mean anything by it. Then you doubt that you didn't dream the unpleasant incident. Alternatively, your lover may admit his guilt and try to make amends. He may apologize for a long time, beg for forgiveness, try to compensate for his act with a gorgeous bouquet, dinner at a restaurant, an expensive gift, or a romantic gesture, like a very touching song of author's composition, which he wrote for you. He may even fulfill your deepest wish to make it up to you that he promises it will never ever happen again. And even though it hurts too much, you forgive him. And it's not the gift or the gesture, it's that you're not ready to lose your fairy tale. You're sure that nothing as beautiful as this love will ever happen again in your life. You're willing to forgive even that for the sake of it. For a while everything becomes as before, even better. But your happiness now has a slight taste of bitterness. Now you expect that the chosen one can do the same thing again. Somewhere on the edge of consciousness this thought is constantly with you. You chase it away, but you never manage to get rid of it completely as the fairy tale begins to turn into a nightmare as time passes. You forget what happened. But something happens again that breaks your heart. You're not so surprised anymore, but you're even more hurt that it happened again. You were still hoping that that incident was really the only one. The prince apologizes again or just pretends it never happened. You forgive again. Then again there is a relative lull. Even though you are still the princess, even though you are still the best of women and the happiest, you are already feeling very uncomfortable on your throne. You're starting to feel like it's not really your throne either. It's the place of some other woman who's much better than you. So now you have to try to make sure your prince doesn't turn into a monster again. Yes, he reincarnates for relatively short episodes. But they hurt you so much. There's no way you'd want them to repeat themselves and ruin your fairy tale again. But you know in your heart that they will happen again. Now you live in constant anxiety and tension. You may have tried to talk to someone about what's going on, but even those closest to you don't understand you. They tend to minimize the size of the problem. Maybe you really just imagined it. They may not believe you. I can't believe he could do that. No way. I don't know why you're playing this game. Why you're putting him on the spot. Or they may just not understand what you're talking about. You can literally feel the person listening to you, but all they want to do is end the conversation as if you're the kind of person who complains all the time but doesn't want to change anything. You feel like the person has distanced themselves from you. You probably won't have such a frank conversation with him again. Avoiding a repeat of this situation, you no longer try to talk about it with others. You can maintain formal, superficial communication, but you no longer feel that you are sharing your experiences. You no longer feel intimacy. You realize that what is happening to you is only your problem. In the whole world, you are now completely alone. If this story sounds even remotely like yours, think about what kind of man your prince really is. Make sure he is not a verbal abuser. You may doubt that this is about you. Check it out. The following are the feelings that all women in abusive relationships experience. You can't figure out what's wrong. You are constantly plagued by a vague anxiety. You are constantly tense and expect something bad to happen, even though you don't know what it is. You often feel shame and guilt, but you don't know why. It's as if your partner is judging you for something, like you're guilty of something, but you can't figure out what it is. You can't guess when your partner will turn from loving and affectionate to furious, angry, and intimidating. No matter how hard you try, you can never predict exactly what it is that can make him or her so mad. And it doesn't even happen in seconds, it happens in moments. You are often surprised by the reasons why your chosen one suddenly wrote you in the mortal enemies. As if such trifles of a grown man should not upset so much. But they do. And you know for a fact that you're not the one who's callous. You really don't want to devalue his feelings, but objectively, his reactions are too strong for these situations. Now you're literally trying not to breathe. Whatever you do, you're worried that it will trigger another temper tantrum in your partner, or a deadly grudge. Unfortunately, even if you do nothing, another attack could still happen at any second. It's like walking through a minefield blindfolded. You try very hard to guess your lover's wishes before they come, but you can't read minds. Your beloved is sure that you must do it. Otherwise, all your words about love are worthless. Now you try not to do or say anything unnecessary. Already many times your words and actions have been used as an argument against you in terrible quarrels. You are very careful. But unfortunately that doesn't help you. Whatever you do and say can be used against you. You will be attributed motives and even thoughts that you never had. Periodically, you talk yourself into believing that nothing so bad has happened. You look for excuses for your lover's behavior. You find them, you feel a little better. But it happens that there are no excuses. And that's what other people notice. Then you resort to lies so that at least outwardly the image of your fairy tale is not destroyed. And they believe you. And even you yourself begin to believe in your lies. You cannot understand how and at what point ordinary dialogues become absurd. Your lover says such things that you break your brain. The logic with which he connects your words and actions completely absurd. And no matter how hard you try to get through to him, you never succeed. Often after conversations with your lover, you spend many hours parsing your communication by words. You try to understand how you should have responded better, and what you shouldn't have said. Unfortunately, these reflections lead to nothing, you only get more tired. Often your simple, understandable plans turn into some crazy mess. Sometimes you even wonder how such a simple thing could go wrong, that you're beginning to feel like you're going crazy. You don't know what you think you are and what is real. And it's excruciating. You're scared out of your mind. You begin to notice that sometimes you behave in unexpected ways. It's as if someone else is replacing you at certain times. Much more harsh, cynical, angry, and temperate. You're frightened that this is happening to you. You don't like it happening to you at all, and you have no control over it. Often you feel like a complete nonentity. You feel like you are the most pathetic person on earth. You feel like you are completely useless. It's as if you've completely forgotten all the good things you can do, all your accomplishments. Or they no longer convince you that you're valuable. And you even begin to think that if you are such a nothing, then maybe the wounding behavior of your soulmate is justified. If you have children, you are often surprised and frustrated by how much your partner is jealous of them. If it were his will, he would take all of your time and attention. He agrees to give your time to the kids with such reluctance that you feel guilty involuntarily. And no, this is not a case of you tormenting your children with hyperparenting and leaving your partner lonely and abandoned. You feel like you are literally being torn in half because you don't know how to give enough attention to both your children and your partner. The same goes for family and friends. But with them, the situation is more easily resolved. You distance yourself from your family and lose your friends. When your partner is in a good mood, when he is in the mood to give you some love, you feel your heart melting instantly. You can't hold a grudge against him anymore. You forget everything. For brief moments, you are the happiest of women again. Too often you feel cold, lonely, and uncomfortable. Even when your partner is around, you may even feel like you've never been lonely before. And that's strange because the love of your life is there. Often you are immersed in memories of how fabulous everything started. You don't recognize the person who's with you now. You miss the person from your past. And the thought that it's the same person hurts you. You wish with all your heart that things could go back to the way they were. But now you have little faith that that's possible. Or at least you feel it will be extremely difficult. Sometimes you feel that you are in some devil's trap from which there is no way out. Your life is like a hell or a prison. It's unbearable to go on like this. But how to end the torment? You have no idea if at least some of these items cause you to think, yes, that's me. You're in a verbally abusive relationship. Fortunately, you are brave enough to seek answers. And you hold the key to your trap. Many women have lived a similar story. And many of them have found their way out. May you do the same. And I will try to light the way for you. Dear viewers of our channel, thank you for being with us and watching this video. We hope that the information was useful and helped you better understand how to cope with anxiety and fears. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, put likes and leave comments. We value your opinion. See you soon and take care of yourself.